Yes, folks, it's Tales from the Jails with John G. Sutton, and this is my book in which I talk about Freemasons in the prison service. Now, the problem, I'm going to talk about Freemasons in the prison service and in the police. Tell a little story to start with. Are you sitting comfortably? Good, then I shall begin. My father was a detective inspector in the police, and his friend was a detective chief inspector. Well, they were both good buddies. They'd been known each other since they joined the police. My father was originally from the area around Fulridge and Colne in Lancashire, and his friend was from Nelson in Lancashire, which is the next town up. And he was a chief inspector, and my dad was an inspector, and he said to my dad, "Listen, if you really want to get on, come with me, and I'll introduce you to the Freemasons." He said, "and you can become a Freemason." He said, "I'll make sure you get in." So my father, who was a Roman Catholic, went to see his priest, because he wasn't devout, but he did practice, you know. So he went to see the priest, and the priest said it's forbidden by the Roman Catholic Church to join the Freemasons. This is not something that we agree with, so I cannot sanction that. I can't tell you that you can do that. In the eyes of the church, this is not acceptable. So my father didn't join the Freemasons. He decided that he would follow the advice of the priest, and he wouldn't join. So his friend went on to be a chief constable, and unfortunately my father died at the age of 44, but his friend was a chief constable at the end. Well, a very nice man, actually. Very nice, decent man. And when he passed away, his family asked me to do a little poem and a little reading for him at his funeral, which I did, and it was full. Absolutely, the church was absolutely, well, it was the crematorium thing, it was absolutely packed with Freemasons, all giving me a very strange look. Who the hell's this? Yeah. Well, I'd known the guy all my life, you know. So that's who I was. Who were they? Yeah. Well, this is the problem that you've got with the Freemasons in the prisons, is that they form a little clique, yeah? And the clique tends to consist of chief officers and principal officers, and one or two strange characters that are creeping their way up the greasy pole. Seriously, people do that. And that's what they use the Freemasons for. That's why I disagree. I personally disagree with the Freemasons. I have got family members who are in the Freemasons. Not in England, in Canada. Mark Sutton is, I believe he's a 33rd degree Mason in the city of Toronto in Canada. And my cousin Jeffrey Sutton, he was, I don't know what they call him, but he was beyond it. He was a 33rd degree Mason, but he was one of the high-ranking ones. He got an MBE, Jeffrey Sutton MBE. He owned and was the owner and CEO of a company called, what's it called now? Western Engineering. Yeah, they did precision parts for Rolls-Royce. Well, they sold it about 5 years ago. I got 55 million for it. So yeah, there's one or two high-ranking Freemasons in my family, and some of my friends are Freemasons. I've been to the Freemasonic Lodge myself, but I can't see myself going down that route. I mean, I'm an oddball, really. They're more likely, if I went to join the Freemasons, there'd be 20 black balls and one white one. Yeah, no matter getting blackballed, yeah, no, they wouldn't have me in the Masons. Although it was mooted that I'd join, but I wouldn't. No, I'm not a joiner, really. Joiner-inner, I mean. I'm certainly not a joiner. I don't saw wood. I've been hit with a few planks of wood in my time, but no. Anyway, so yeah, the Freemasons in the prisons, they all joined together. Listen, I was taken and charged with actual bodily harm, and in the court, this Freemason went up and gave evidence against me. He was a member of the prison staff. I didn't know the guy. I didn't know him. And I didn't know he was going to be a witness against me. He turned up to give a witness statement against me. Yeah, seriously. This guy's a Freemason, and I didn't know he was a Freemason, but he was. And he stood in the dock, and he said, "This is God's honest truth. There's a transcript of the trial somewhere, and it's in my latest book, the account of this." He stood up in the court, and he said that I was the most dangerous man in Wormwood Scrubs. He said he'd been in the prison service over 20 years, and in all that time he'd never met anybody that was as dangerous as I. I mean, where had he been for 20 years? My representative, my counsel, my barrister, said to him, "You work at Wormwood Scrubs, yeah?" He said, "And you've never met anybody more dangerous than Mr. Sutton?" He said, "That's right." He said, "What about the train robbers, yeah? What about Gordon Goody? Yeah, what about Tony Lambriano? What about Frankie Fraser? What about all the rest of them? What about the Craigway? All these people who have passed through the gates of Wormwood Scrubs whilst you've been working there, and you say that my client, Mr. Sutton, is the most dangerous man you've met. How is that? Has he not committed any murders, has he? All I'd done was beat the living daylights out of a gang of louts because they wouldn't let us live in peace. I mean, obviously, that's not how you behave these days, and I'm an old man now. I wouldn't do that now. I get somebody else to do it. Seriously, you've got to do it, haven't you? Hey, but in the prisons, there was a clique. You know, they formed themselves into a little team, and it was supporting their little. They could do what they wanted, you see, because they were in positions of authority, like the detail principal officer. Yeah, that's the guy who allocates all the tasks in the prison. He was a Freemason. The number one chief officer, he was a Freemason. The governor, he was a Freemason. They were all in it, and I know this because I knew people who'd been at the Scrubs a long time. Their fathers worked there, and they were telling me about this gang, and you never saw them dressed up as Freemasons, no, except they all went out together to the lodge on certain nights. But it's diabolical, and it was the same at the Scrubs as it was at Strangeways. The number one chief officer, he was a Freemason. He wore a freemason, one of these rings, you know. It's got like a compass on and a square. Yeah, that kind of thing. And you could see him on episode 3 of the BBC documentary Strangeways with another Mason, Norman Brown, sat in the office plotting what to charge me with. They were going to charge me, you know, with bringing the service into disrepute, and me bringing the prison service into disrepute. Me. I mean, they've been kicking blokes around the landings for the last 100 years, and I'm bringing the service into disrepute by making a report of this. Anyway, that's what happens. You've got to be careful with that, because a secret society. There's people say, "Oh no, it's John. It's not a secret society. It's a society with secrets. It's a bloody secret society." Yeah, let me tell you that. Oh yeah. Before I get into the ringing the ding dong, I've got something to show you here. I better warn you, it's a little bit graphic, really. So I'll ring the ding dong stinger. There's a song dinger. That's a warning. Get out before you see something horrible, because this looks to me quite horrible. It depicts it's a marble sculpture, yeah, that's in a museum in Italy, and it depicts a man and his pet, but the pet is a goat. And what he's doing to this goat is extremely strange. I mean, but imagine carving, and this is over 2,000 years old, this. Imagine carving something like this and having it on exhibition. There you go. Well, Larry, I hope that you and Billy Goat Gruff don't get up to this. Imagine that. That's on display in a museum. It shows a bloke with a beard ramming it up the bum of a bloody goat. Bestiality, eh? It's obviously been around for a long time. I must say that I don't find it particularly... I mean, how do you do it? I've mentioned this before. I mean, beautiful young lady, you know, for me, beautiful young ladies in her 60s, 50s, 60s, you know, something like that, yeah. But beautiful young lady, yeah, it ain't going to be easy then at my age. But a bloody goat. Anyway, that was just something I decided to show you today because somebody sent it to me. I gave him a little talk on this, my little lecture on the hen, that guy who was shagging hens. He said, have a look at this. So there we are. We've all had a look at it now. This is one of my favourite poems. I'm not going to read you all of it, and I'm not going to sing to you today. By the way, Larry made a comment. He said he wished that it was only every blue moon that I sang. There are people on here who actually do enjoy my singing. I see them on the sick parade of a morning, around about 9 o'clock. Chlorpromazine, up at outer quadrant of the backside. At least it's the upper outer quadrant, not the other bit. Here we go. Yeah, this is by T.S. Eliot. Terence Staines Eliot. This is only a short few verses of the love song of J. Alfred Prufrock. And you've got to listen to this, but it's like he's saying to you, come with me, yeah, we're going to look at life. We're going to look at things here. I'm going to show you these things. This is what I'm going to do, and this is the love song of J. Alfred Prufrock. Let us go then, you and I, when the evening is spread out against the sky, like a patient etherized upon a table. Let us go through certain half-deserted streets, the muttering retreats of restless nights in one-night cheap hotels and sawdust restaurants with oyster shells. Streets that follow like a tedious argument of insidious intent to lead you on to an overwhelming question. Oh, do not ask, what is it? Let us go and make the visit. In the room, the women come and go, talking of Michelangelo, the yellow fog that rubs its back upon the window panes, the yellow smoke that rubs its nozzle on the window panes, licked its tongue into the corners of the evening, lingered upon the pools that stand in drains, let fall upon its back the soot that falls from chimneys, slipped by the terrace, made a sudden leap, and seeing it was a soft October night, curled once about the house and fell asleep. I could read you more, but it's a rather long poem, and I'm sure you don't want to hang around here all day listening to John exercising his vocals. So that's it for today. Tales from the Jails, folks. Don't forget to have a look at my book. It's doing quite well, and it talks about Freemasons in the prisons, in Strange Ways, and in Wormwood Scrubs. Thank you very much.